such a social justice warrior. She's like, I will not stand for this.
Inky, trust me, we love Monkey Fist style of humor.
Special brand of humor.
He's our type of people.
I'm of the camp, like I grew up as the more mean you are to someone, the more you like them.
That would be this fella in the bottom row left side. I am Ken, he says.
This is me. I am me. Yeah, you need to fix up our little thing we set up so that our names can show up.
Yep, I know, man. I'm getting blasted.
I know you got like 10,000 things suddenly show up.
Even better than that. Oh, wow. All right. Melf gifted a
There it
sub
is.
to Captain Bilbosa.
What? Goodness. That was not intentional. Congratulations. Well, now. Oh well.
Well,
Oh, that's gonna be half the entertainment my evening.
What
did we do? I don't know.
Just
He's whiter than I expected, talking to Ken.
oh,
it's because of the lighting. I made sure that it accentuates, so I have a nice white glow going on.
Yeah, it's called blanching.
I've got. Oh, you know what? I gotta turn on the light above me. Just a second.
As we can't see his
Wish my-
eyes anymore post.
And all of a
wish
sudden we just
my
have Ken
ears
come back.
didn't Disappear.
What did you do? It's called the halo effect.
It actually evens me out. Like before, it was just like white glow here. Now it's like actually.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I still got this up. Go away, Steam. Don't need you.
I don't need you.
So, we
What?
Cool. Thanks for the gifted sub there. Again, he's just all kinds of.
Oh, I didn't even see it pop up.
Happy Pride.
Oh, Monkey Fist. What a nice guy. See? He's nice.
Yep, Monkey
Good
Fist
people.
did us a solid. Well done.
So we did a cheat session.
Yeah,
So
I was about to
what was
announce
the-
that too. So, okay. Setting up for context here, outside of the fact that, we had some, just to kind of start from the very beginning here, we had a couple of things that were going on here. We got, like, Melf cheering 9 bits. It's kind of been a bit war between, like, Kaza and Melf to try and see if they can take lead spot.
Well, now we're getting to the point where we're just like one or two at a time.
Yeah, just a little blip, blip, blip.
Like, I bid $101.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, jeez.
Oh, good God.
how many?
All right, well, Monkey wins, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Holy
That's 10.
crap.
We are not worthy.
Thanks, Monkey Fist.
A bunch of people who aren't even watching got it. Got the-
Yeah.
Ivar. Oh, Joker got it. Valor got it.
Oh, my kid's friend got one.
Well done. Wow.
That's funny. All right.
I have a feeling that my notifications didn't know how to handle that because it didn't play the whole sound or anything. It was just like,
Just
ding.
like, oh my God, Monkey. Jesus.
Good lord.
I've seen that happen before though.
Yeah, I've seen
where
it
people
happen,
start
but
having
I
back
don't
and
think
forth.
I've ever known anybody who actually did it. Because I'm sitting there going that, like, it's like, that's like most of my bills for the month right there.
I mean, that's fair.
Oh
Fair
Oh my
assessment.
gosh, that Japanese whiskey.
Oh yeah, the Yamakaze,
Oh my
Yama-
gosh.
Yamazaki.
Yamazaki. There it is.
Yamazaki.
Hmm.
Yeah, Yamazaki was so smooth. Oh, that was good. So,
It hurt. It burned.
oh, it was so good. And of course,
But
watching Ken gag on every sip of whiskey he was ordered to drink was also just as funny.
You guys were like, man, you're a trooper for taking it though.
Yeah, I mean, I also was just sitting there going like, why? You know you're not gonna like it. Why? Like, I was confused.
Yes, it is a Suntory brand.
I didn't know what he was asking there for a minute.
Hmm.
I had to follow up with the proprietor, and she gave me all the details.
All the deets.
Mm-hmm. Well, so to break this down so that people kind of know what the hell's up, we had everybody in for a get-together over the weekend, and we actually rolled dice in person. A little shorty because Drew is going to be gone, or is going to be gone for a little while. But the synopsis of that should be available to Ken at this point, since
I just gotta find the archives.
it's literally just its own tab. It's just called Archive. It's where all the old stuff is, and there's going to be something in there called
Yeah,
Notes.
It's gotta wait. I gotta wait for it to sync.
It's loading.
There it is. Notes.
Yeah, so we got to all meet in person.
Yeah, and the meat space is as Scott kept calling it. Which,
And it's taller than I thought, so that was fun.
Who was?
Ken.
Oh, yeah.
So like all good D&D, you meet in the bar, and all good Shadows games, you begin in a diner, which is
Yeah.
the
Yes.
determination we had last week. We then promptly went our separate ways.
as any good
then-
group does.
Then got together again with our White Knight syndrome, and then promptly did exactly what we did the first time, went our separate ways, which left Danny exploring the magic and trying to understand his body going through some changes.
I was born at a very young age. Magic.
So, in brief, what happened is that everybody got, because if you recall, they were from the original session that was recorded, everybody was kind of warped into another part of town and had to try and figure some things out. Now, the key things to remember, or the key things to note about what happened out, behind closed doors, was that Drew's character has shown himself to be a little nuts and isn't going to be necessarily following the group intently for a while, but he will be in other means, kind of watching everybody online and kind of seeing how things play out. That being said, we have our younger one, Danny Blaze, researching everything he can find on magic in particular, trying to sort out what the hell's going on, as he's been given a small taste of what it's like to actually utilize magic in the real, instead of just thinking that somehow or another it's a coincidental or just sort of like it's a weird thing I do.
I just realized that both of Scott's characters from different angles are researching magic. Like,
Mhm.
one was like learning about it as a grizzled veteran, and the other one is like a kid that's like, what the hell? This is real? What?
Werewolves are real.
It's gonna be really funny whenever that keeps coming back up.
So Danny, Ranger Rick kept telling Danny that, you're doing magic, and Danny's like, what? Like, in his mind, as a 15-year-old, when the events of our last campaign ended, 8 years ago, it's like magic isn't really a thing. It's like the same way that, like, we'll say people today believe in magic, that it's something from stories, or maybe there's like weird synchronicity, or maybe somebody's got like extrasensory perception but not like fireball out of my hand. And he hasn't seen anything like that. You know, the only quote unquote magic that he's done has been kind of that push pull, you know, pushing people away while he was walking, or like pulling the cards to his hand. And then you do that like double take, like, did I actually do that, or did it just feel that cool like that?
Whereas,
hasn't-
you know, the cynical 300-year-old Scotch vampire just basically
Right.
goes, "No, it's real, and you're fine. It's okay." Just matter of fact, that's his life. And then he goes back to his force because he has washed his hands of all this nonsense.
Yeah.
So there's just been a temporary break where everybody kind of went and did their own thing. Now you've got Hugh-Man on the search for information regarding whatever artifact this fragment is related to. He ended up interrogating the girl Silva. Wow. Oh,
My
apparently.
payday's tomorrow, so
We got more gift subs from the Kaza here.
Saw enough people were watching. Stipulate.
thanks
I
for
feel
that.
well, live bodies.
Yep, lots of live bodies is
Oops,
preferable.
they ruined Scotland.
Oh. It's gonna be like storage wars. Get that high bid.
What was it? I just kind of see Monkey Fist as the trunk monkey, just kind of popping out.
With the
Yeah, you know what commercial I'm talking about.
There, we made our own stickers.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And by we, I mean Scott. And by Scott, I mean that guy over there. No.
Oh my god.
Here. If I can't be number one in the gift subbing, I'll be number one in the bits.
So
Like a trunk
anyway,
monkey. Yeah.
yeah, so Danny's mom came and picked him up, and he left with her and was like researching magic via his via Clippy, his magic VI.
Yeah. So he has a VI in his home that's voice interactive, but not as socially savvy as what you would get with a full AI. But she was helping him do what he needed to, and he was grabbing all sorts of data from extremely old billboards that were left behind in the net from days back when. And now he's basically stuck reading, which is like his not favorite thing to do.
We actually had our first encounter too, and it didn't end in death, so that's surprising.
Yeah, it ended a little bit anticlimactically compared to usual.
Well, we're not fighting elder gods and stuff.
Well, he decided to split before he had another chance of getting more rounds in the face, because vampire
He's
or
about
no.
to.
Yeah. Oh my god. Jeez. Still, the riff tracks of Twilight, absolute best thing ever. It's so
I
funny.
think Inky is trolling me. But anyway,
Detailed.
yeah. So we had the vampire stare down.
Yeah, well, we encountered another one that was actually trying to feast, which is the White Knight moment. It was trying to eat this girl, and it looks like the team, as such as they were stepping in, with Hugh-Man doing the garrulous jabber talk, and Malcolm first being angry, then amused, and then Drew's character, like, whipping out his gat and pumping 3 rounds into the poor sod.
At least that's the only thing he's whipped out. Unlike Ivar.
Yeah, I'm not getting Gandalf in saggy underwear anymore. So that's basically where we left off. So we've got Malcolm heading back. We've got Hugh, who's basically running through his investigation. Now it is still fairly late, because we're looking somewhere around 11 p.m. by this point, 11:30. So we've got Danny. You're gonna be doing your research for long enough that you'll probably end up getting tired and conking out at some point here eventually.
I mean, he has a bedtime.
Yeah. And then Malcolm, when you do
Figure
find
out
your
he
way
has the
back,
pool.
when you find your way back to Central Park, you have spent an approximate amount of like almost because you kind of get to the point where it's like 11:30 and then you get back around 12:30, almost 1. You have to take several vehicles on the way in because you were quite a ways from where Central Park was, and trying to use any kind of grounder to get there would take a lot longer, so you had to hook up with an AV taxi and transport yourself all the way back. It is
Well, didn't
Wednesday
the,
morning in
didn't
October.
Yeah, didn't the lady help Mr. Malcolm find his way? That's how he got the VI taxi.
Yeah, because
Yes.
him being the absolute luddite in the technological city
Yeah.
is
And she took the
ironic.
cash that was offered to her by Hugh, and she took care of herself and got the hell out of there.
Right.
I mean, his main thing is he's just going to go back to his place and, you know, get his blood back up. He's got his spiced deer blood with just a little bit of fox mixed in, and
Is it like
just a little bit of
the-
spice to it.
Chicken and the bacon.
And
Chicken, yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't feed off humans. I mean, that's his vow. So that sustains him, and that brings up his blood pool again. And then he
It just
takes
keeps
one
him
of his-
sustained because he always drops during the day, then he brings himself back up by 1, then drops, then 1, then drops. So he just does this, wavering back and forth, keeping himself from dropping below that point.
Yeah.
vegan blood. That sounds like an oxymoron.
Well, that was the challenge of making the character.
Well, no, just vegan blood. Just like that phrase. Sounds like
Oh,
an
yeah.
oxymoron.
Cactus water.
So where does that put Malcolm now?
Well, you're back at Central Park at one of the main entrances. The AV is lifting off, and you're still recalling just how intense and how huge mankind has become in the years leading from where you were. It would be almost impossible. Now you've been around for a while, long enough to know what's been going on, obviously. The trouble is that you're still astonished by the magnitude and degree by which humanity exploded into existence in only less than a century. And it's way beyond any kind of growth you ever could have possibly imagined, not to mention the technology that followed suit. Because you're looking at the vast array of glittering spires covered with all those holographics just constantly blasting light and flashing everywhere.
So a lot of his Ludditism is technological shock. So he's actually in a mental state of shock with regards to the development.
Yeah, I mean, you're stunned by how far it went, and it doesn't get any less impressive each time you take to the air. Because you could take to the air all on your own. You could even levitate up high if you really wanted to do that yourself. But riding in the vehicle with no exertion whatsoever and being able to see everything outside without having any kind of like, you've got the electrochromic windows and ports and all that, so you can just see so much. And it's travel in this state vastly differs from what it used to be in old Scotland. I mean, you couldn't have coped to clear the distance you had remotely in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Question
Yes.
for Bill's character. So, are you like in Gargoyle Syndrome, where your casket was like taken
my
from
God.
Scott's?
Well, I mean, that
from
was
the
essentially is the
Scottish
the,
lands.
the English soldier, the officer who was a vampire who brutally tortured him,
Oh,
determined that he was irredeemable, like he couldn't reform him because he was like a project, and sealed him in a coffin and said, maybe in 100 years you'll learn some manners.
Oh, jeez.
At which point you had Mr. Willoughby, who was the one who actually turned him, who was forced to turn him, found his coffin and freed him, gave him his equipment, and said, the world's changed. This is where I'm at. because he has his own. He curates his own little apothecary shop in Chinatown. So it's like, come for me for the blood pills, because he knows about the vow, because Mr. Willoughby has the same vow. Now, does not imbibe the blood of a human, forcefully or otherwise, right? So that's where he gets like the powdered blood pills that maintain his level. That's where he gets his like, he'll bring deer blood that he hunts in Central Park to Mr. Willoughby, and he'll take and mix it with a few other things like spices and things like that. So it's actually makes it like, well, I mean, it's not quite human blood for you, but it will actually replenish your blood levels, right? Or your SFR, your spiritual force rating. So that's why he carries like a flask, like an emergency flask for
Blood flask.
Yeah, literally a blood flask. And then he has his pills that you would see him pop every once in a while, because it just maintains him. He doesn't really need anything else. He lives a very simple life, and he enjoys that because his life was so complicated otherwise. Does that kind of explain your question?
Yeah, I was curious because you're Scottish, so obviously you come from Scotland, and I was wondering how you're.
He was basically born in 1660, before the Battle of Culloden, and that's where P came in contact with Winterborn.
Cool.
Who is,
Sorry,
as you could say,
backstory for
is
our
a proper
resident vampire.
flick.
Moldering intensifies.
Inky, the answer is you stay here.
Under no familial obligation.
I mean, if you want to go watch Critical Role or whatever, I guess.
Well, you
But-
could keep our stream up and then just mute it, and then someone watch the other one.
Right.
We need those viewers.
So, yeah, I mean, you're back at Central Park now, and things seem to be kind of at rest. No sign of the original tour group. They look like they've been taken care of.
Oh, he goes through his routine check. He checks, he goes through the list that Ortega, shown him, just going through the proper motions, like checking. It's like, okay, I got a tour group that's going to be coming in. It's a moto, small group, less trouble. He's kind of going less troublesome. And then he kind of settles in. I mean, it's still nighttime, so he's actually gonna stamp out a lot of the tobacco, that unclean tobacco as he saw it, and puts in like a proper tablet. And less
I'd handed him
additive free.
Oh yeah.
I'd handed him
tobacco.
a cigarette.
And he lights his pipe and just goes on a stroll, because that's what he likes to do. He'll just stroll through the park, because frankly, after everything that's happened, he was rather loud and noisy, and he just wants to recenter himself.
All of that makes perfect sense. So, all right. He's going to be going on a stroll. Let's get an idea of what Hugh's up to for the moment, real quick. Because you'll have made it back to your
Getting his
office. You can
Rolodex.
commit to some work, of course. It'll be, like I said, about midnight, around the same time, because you've got some traveling to do.
Right. I think. Let's see. Let me take a quick look at my notes. I know that Silva recognized it.
And Silva was the
Fae, the
was
Avalon.
the punk girl that. Just as a reminder, Silva was the punk girl that showed up and basically caused all of this to kind of get everybody whipped together.
All right. So when he gets back, he's gonna do some research, some investigation, I should say,
Roll it.
and investigation in occult lore, like
Yeah.
just knowing what. So I guess occult lore first, to know what I know already about Avalon, the Fae, and all that fun stuff, and then investigation to guide me towards.
So the
leads
investigation
on-
will give you the tools, like where to go, what to look for, and see how successful that front you are. The occult will determine whether or not the information you get is bullshit or not.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
because you'll
That'll
know
hit.
you'll
So
know the
investigation,
reference.
then occult.
Yeah.
Got it. I was right the first time. Oh shit. Okay, so 21.
That's your occult.
No, the first roll was a exploder, and that's my investigation. And then the second roll was the explode. My occult is
Yeah, I see the. Oh, that must have
19.
been. Yeah.
So 21 and 19. 21
God
19. 21 19.
damn.
Isn't that from Monsters Inc?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a 2019.
Oh yeah.
Well, in this case, yeah. So your investigation leads you down all of the right roads. You actually will probably make a contact, or you'll make contact with somebody who's actually kind of got an underground element to him, and this is kind of where I get to be a little.
Dude, those are really good rolls. Like I got
Yeah.
a 9 and a 10 on the dice.
Yeah,
It really wants
Yeah.
me to
getting
find out
close
about
to
this.
20 and the rest of that, especially in the current system, is really good.
We got posture checked.
Spike.
Like I said. All right. Well, let's just. There.
No one person should have that much power to move 5 men.
We'll do anything for money.
Or 4.
For
Whatever.
anything.
You're in spirit.
Although Drew's like in his car and he just like
What?
All right. So you've got a contact. His name is Chattervox.
Vox or Vox? V.
Vox with a V.
I thought I heard you right. Dang. This is super uncomfy.
That just looks like what happens to me. Ah, man, I was watching that whole thing about Max Headroom, dude. It was
you
throwing
watched
me
that
back.
whole 40 minutes.
Oh God, yes. I love Max
It's
Headroom.
so good. I'm like, well,
I didn't realize that he
No,
was
I
a
haven't
villain when I
seen
was a kid. I watched the show and I was like, he's a hero, and I only remember him. I don't remember anybody
Yeah.
else. So Chattervox, like I said, is your main contact in this particular case, and he deals in. He's basically your underground like runner who does talismans, things along those lines, and he keeps his ear to the ground for all kinds of unknowable things. Now, you're on a business relationship with the guy. It's not friendly, like in the sense that you guys are buddy and you just get stuff for
Yeah.
free. So there are expenses depending on what he's going to go look for. So yeah, but if you give him a call after doing a little bit of network research, and he's just like, "This is Chattervox, go."
Hey, Hugh. It's Hugh. I mean,
Oh, Hugh, what can I do for you?
well, I got a new job, and I am looking for some information on. We're on a phone, but I can send him like.
You're on
it's like,
Monocle.
are you- Yeah, it's like this.
you're like on FaceTime, but like with your. Wait,
Like,
where
you
are
just
you?
see-
Well, yeah,
my
you
ear.
can either do that, or you can just do your smart brace, upload whatever, or you can show him literally. It's
I'll do all of those things.
yeah.
Here's my scans of it here, and then I would also describes like I'm looking for the other pieces of this artifact. Apparently, it is of Avalon and the Fae, which makes sense considering my client.
That seems a bit extreme. How did you get your hands on that? And who's your client? Never mind. Don't answer that.
Can't say.
But how do you know it's legit? I could just be running around for an octagonal piece of ceramic.
My independent investigation seems to indicate that it is a authentic artifact.
All right, I'll
I'm
take
just
your word
looking
for
for
it.
more information. Is it the usual rate?
Yeah, it's always the usual, right, mate?
We're running a discount.
Great doing business with you. What's the usual rate, D? I'm gonna wire it to him.
He usually pushes about 120 an hour.
How long do you think this investigation will take?
Well, if you give me an hour, I can do something for you.
All right, it's on its way. So I send in the 120.
All right, he's like, got it. I need everything you've got on the item. All of it. Specs, right down to the millimeter. Well then, I'll get to work and I'll reach you back out later.
Excellent.
He disconnects the call.
Cool. I'm keeping track of how much I'm spending so I can tell Lance, invoicing and all that.
just. All right, so yeah, I mean, he takes something close to, I don't know, 40 minutes roughly, because he's gonna take that whole first hour regardless.
Yeah.
But he gives you a call back right around that time. So.
Go for servant.
And, that line's cheesy, right?
It works. People remember me.
Right. So, I'm a bit impressed. I've been talking to a few people down under, so to speak, who've got a perspective on what you're working with here. Now, if it's all working out the way I expect, the piece that you've got here is going to be the only fragment there is, and the rest of it is somewhere else.
Oh, so there's only one other part, and this is just the one piece that's missing?
More like there's one hole. This is like the key. And I'm certain that whoever gave this to you probably didn't quite know that.
That would be true.
I've got a couple of leads. I'll be sending it to you, of course, in an encrypted manner. That way you don't have to worry about anybody peeking in on your little business here. But
Wouldn't dream of it.
I would wager you're probably going to have to utilize assets. A lot of them. There's a good chance. Oh, yeah. Whoever it is that's asking for this thing, guaranteed they're going to need to have a lot of money.
All right. So, what's the rest of the information that I need to write down? Like, what's he sending me?
Well, there's kind of a legendary object that Avalon would employ, usually as a form of healing, purification, and the rest of it. It happens to be a sort of silver goblet, and it's usually fairly large. You'd have to cup it under both hands, which explains the size of the pseudo-ceramic piece. He gives you rough specs. Oh, what the fuck? He gives you rough specs as to what the object will probably look like with the piece included, how it possibly fits. There seems to be certain grooves that kind of match up. Now, you hadn't paid that much attention, but based on what you gave him with a 3D render of the actual piece, there were notches and things like that that were kind of looking like maybe damage or something of that sort, but they happen to be quite uniform, almost fractal. But it would appear that it fits in a specific way into this goblet, and it looks like they can sort of be moved interchangeably. So you have to actually place the piece, the fragment, incorrectly.
You have to put it incorrectly?
Yes, if it's misoriented on the front part of that, on the actual side of the goblet itself, it can go anywhere from non-functional to somewhat lethal of whoever it is that's trying to utilize it.
Oh, you meant put it in correctly. I heard incorrect as in wrongly. You have to put it in badly. Like.
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
You have to insert it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think Scott and I were both in the wrong.
I was like, you have to put it incorrectly?
And then when I clarified, I was like,
in
comma.
correctly.
Yeah. I realized as I was typing it what that happened there. Yay, English.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, at this point, you're kind of looking at it, and you realize the pseudo-fractal design is quite ornate. so it's kind of hard to know exactly how it's meant to fit in. But the gauntlet itself is reportedly made out of silver, probably pure silver given the actual material setup. And anybody who possesses this, based on what he was pushing through, is going to be an item in private collectors' wish lists, which is why he was talking about having significant amounts of money. Credits would be necessary to purchase the goblet, and it's going to be upwards in the millions. So,
Oh, I don't have that much money.
but there are some things to contemplate when it comes to that. So he doesn't know who might be in possession of it. That's why they call it private collection. So some form of investigation will be necessary to figure out who might be in possession of it, if anyone.
Cool. Well, Hugh's gonna take some notes down, write his own thoughts based on that. I'm gonna do. Can I do a what kind of role would it be for me to like know, just based on my own knowledge of the underworld, or not the underworld, but the supernatural?
I'm gonna
who
save
might be
everybody
my
to
ex-
scream when I do this.
Gotta stretch.
Yeah.
Someone take Inky's points away.
You gain points too quickly. You need to do like 500 points or something.
I'm just using the smart thing. I can edit it down. Like the amount of points you guys get over time, I can't change, but I can change the cost.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yep.
We gain it pretty quickly. I have 2100 already. I'm halfway
God
there.
damn.
Almost there to the taking your glasses off.
That'll be delicious. Thorin Oakenshield sitting here cross-eyed.
Anyway, so what kind of role I'd like to do is like if just intuitively I know kind of who I should talk to next kind of thing.
I guess streetwise.
I do have that.
Yeah,
Is that what the role?
streetwise would be to find the right source. Street deal would be the bargaining chips that you could employ
So
if you were to
I'll do
negotiate.
streetwise.
Streetwise, yep.
Oh yeah, that's the helps you find gray markets and
Yeah. All of that fun business.
All right. Let me just do the roll.
What were some of the other advantages you took, Danny? Curious.
well, funny you should say that. I'm just now opening my character sheet. 4 to 6 minutes in.
That's one demerit. Anyway,
All right. I took. Wait, what did you say? Advantages?
yeah, I'm curious as to what advantages you took.
Lucky, wealthy, common sense, and fame.
Interesting. Okay.
So, lucky for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Wealthy, I start with a bonus 10,000 credits and earn 2,000 per month. Common sense, I gain a +2 on human perception checks to determine if someone is being deceptive to me. And then fame, I'm easily recognized and get special treatment because I'm a card player.
Gotcha.
And then my disadvantages are age, the obvious one there, and then temper and passive.
Right. So, yeah, you're streetwise there. What was it, 18? Looks like it. Oh, another gifted sub. For your friend Bumblebee. Nice.
Nice, 18.
So, the biggest thing that you're going to be dealing with on this, like when you're checking everything out, you're going to be finding that fairly difficult. Now, running on the underground is one thing, but when you're running underground for the mystical and the arcane, as well as anything that is supernatural, it increases a certain degree or a certain level of... Thanks for the cheers, sir.
Here in my street deal.
Yeah, and this time the volume's not blowing my head off, so... Yeah. Beforehand it was like... like my cheeks were vibrating.
Oh god.
The thing about that is it gets knowingly more dangerous the deeper into that world you get. Because... oh, you know what? Roll me a D100. I want to see what this is
Oh,
going to...
geez.
Dang.
The massive D100.
77.
Okay. Interesting.
You all die.
No, I just
All
have
right,
something that
Shadows 4.0.
I've been secretly working from behind the scenes. Like, no, I can't pull a Brandon Sanderson. I'm not that eloquent. So what you actually encounter is somebody who has a very important piece that might get you exactly what you're looking for. Yeah, no kidding. Get you exactly what you're looking for. And as it turns out, there is outside of your office, maybe about 10 miles further northward, you have a small area of this particular sector that happens to be those tiny corner shops and a weird little hamlet buried amongst all the taller buildings that has your street level shops and odd restaurants, and some of these things are kind of like your open air markets, kind of crammed into the crevices in and throughout the streets. Not as many grounders kind of coming through here. It's just, kind of more people on foot. The energy of the place is always up. So, especially at night, whenever you have this kind of thing going on, it's a flea market of a sort. And, this part of Lowtown, you just get all manner, all people. And it's kind of considered neutral territory. There was a point whenever you were using your monocle and you were kind of scouting around, and you realized that there are several arcane marks that illustrate this space as being, safer. Namely, you have to have good cause before you can draw weapons or deal, like basically shed any blood, that kind of thing. And it took some interest, but there are definitely bouncers of a sort that move in throughout, and they're responsible for just kind of keeping the peace if something goes off. You don't know what their capabilities are. Everybody looks pretty much human, and your monocle definitely happens to detect the strange and unusual auras of the people that are moving throughout this part of town.
What's the name of this flea market? You said it's like...
Hold on.
Is this like the Goblin Market or whatever that we went to in a previous campaign?
No, but I am breadcrumbing in that direction, actually. So, fair instinct on that.
We gotta make more Minotaur puns. That's the whole deal.
Well, hopefully you're able to hop. Because without your butt, nobody hops. So, I'll come up with a name here shortly. Kind of running on that one. But, but it's just a flea market in Lowtown. But from here, you know several different people that could be of note, and you'll start to apply your charisma in that direction. What so happens to come by as you're kind of moving past large groups of people and they start fulfilling, they're either trying to get your attention or trying to push past you. You've got all manner still kind of in this tight space, commingling amongst each other. So equal parts punk, equal parts, the disenfranchised and the homeless, equal parts the rich, equal parts the unusual. They're all sort of here and doing things just barely out of sight. When you come across a certain stall and you've got a guy who's kind of tall, lanky, he's got loose-fitting jacket, shirt, he's got the jeans that are kind of set a little bit low, and he's rocking back inside of a wooden chair, and he's just got his foot up against the top part of the counter that he's got underneath his pitch tent here. And he just kind of looks and sees you coming by, and you happen to catch sight of something that looks very vaguely kind of like a brass medallion of a sort, with a very interesting mark on it. You happen to recognize it with the monocle as well, that it does carry a legitimate aura of something significant. Some kind of energy is packed into that little thing. And the medallion itself isn't terribly large, it's probably about the size of a silver dollar, and it's strung onto a leather thong that looks to be braided.
Okay. I'm gonna casually walk over and start perusing. I'm guessing this guy's, it's like there's wares. It's not just that on the counter, right?
No, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Small little trinkets, knickknacks, things of that nature. There's a few
Yeah, so I'm
bits.
gonna be
There's like parts as well that look to be somewhat mechanical, but share similar kinds of odd arcane qualities to them.
yeah. So he's just picking through them, and he picks up the medallion and kind of holds it in his hand. And I'm gonna do I guess a occult lore to see if I know what this thing is.
Yep. It looks like it's a market pass.
And I know what that is.
Yeah, you've got a rough idea. You're kind of sitting there looking at it and analyzing it, and then the guys just sort of like, good eye, man. Good eye.
I kind of I look up and it's like, hey, thanks. How much?
He's like, 500C.
And he takes out his credit stream. I'll take it.
Quick on the top, like that. Puts the cigarette back in his mouth. He gets, he takes the credits. Slides like, have fun, man.
Thank you.
Kind of
What's
like,
the market pass?
well,
Like, what do I know of the market pass? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't personally.
like I
but-
said, you vaguely know what it is. Of course, you just bought it, and clearly the guy knows what it's worth. So you could ask him in particular if you need to find out where it might be. But it is always in a nondescript, usually down an alley somewhere, and you have to know certain astrological elements before you can actually get to the right one. But if you find the right alleyway, it happens to be a doorway leading to a market, which you have, because you're sitting there looking it over, and the more you examine it, the more kind of excited you might be getting, because you've never had access to this before, and if this works, this might be a permanent pass because of the way it's set up. But it will bring you directly to this. It's just called the marketplace, and if you get there, it is the hub or central point where a lot of the primary and supernatural collect for all sorts of things, be it for information, items, whatever. Just so it's very difficult to predict what will be there, but it's also extremely rare to find a pass of this nature. Now, 500 credits, that's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's expensive, and most people probably couldn't afford it, but the guy appeared to know what it was, but the more you look at it, you're like, he should have been charging thousands, perhaps, maybe more.
So I guess I will ask then. It's like, hey, do you happen to know where the market is?
And he's sort of like, what, dude?
He holds up it's like, where I can use this.
I'm not an astronomer, man, but what is it called? If you look it up online, it's called Kipley's Almanac. Kind of keeps track of weird shit like this. He takes another drag. You go digging through that, you might be able to find exactly where all this is supposed to be happening.
Alright. He tips. He's not even hat, he just like does like the action.
Yeah, he just gestures.
A gesture.
Yep.
And he's gonna head back to do some research. That'll probably be the last thing he does this evening.
Yeah.
Because he'll want to write some notes down and take a sleep. Because he's gonna call Lance in the morning.
Yep.
To keep him updated on what's going on.
Yeah. Well, that being said, let's move it up to. Oh, not quite that. Here. There we go. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. That is the kind of shit that happens when I roll an Ot 3 for.
Welcome
If you'd
back,
be.
Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill.
Yeah, if you'd be so kind, Danny, since you're the one sleeping, if you could roll me a will essence check, please.
Oh, jeez.
Just sleeping, man.
Okay. Will essence. So this is A D10 for each of my will points. Oh, I forgot. I have that cool bump to will, so I actually have a 5 will. Not as disastrous as I thought. Do I have a target?
It'll be a target 8.
I'm gonna try something.
Wow.
Okay, so it turns out, I was reading some documentation on Dice Maiden. Let's go a little meta here. You can space out the things. So I did 5d10 space E10 space T8.
Oh, that's a
So
little
it doesn't
nicer.
have to be that like really.
And you had another
Just a
thing that you
little-
could put in there that makes it so that it's like not scored like you did, where it's 10, 8,
Well,
8,
yeah. That'll be useful if I'm like, if I have 3 targets and I'm trying to attack 3 targets at once. But for this, okay, so target was 8, so I got 3 successes and 2 fails.
Yeah, you ended up 3 successes, so technically you have a result of 1, because
Yep.
those ones cancel things out. But that's all we needed was 1 success.
Phew.
Well, in your case,
I successfully wake up.
yeah. Well, you're not waking up, but you are having an odd dream because you don't remember what
Oh,
was happening
jeez.
beforehand, and now you're just kind of out in a place that you wouldn't expect, kind of like what Central Park would look like, but not exactly. You're just kind of in a place that looks more lively than that. And when you come through this small amount of brush and between these very, very big trees, you can hear someone humming, and it's definitely female. But as you're coming through it, there's this girl who's kind of just getting water into a pail, and the water is crystal clear. And it's got a little bit of a burble to it, so it looks like there's some kind of natural spring underneath that's causing it to move. But, you've got sunlight coming through, which is one of those things where you can actually feel it on your skin. Probably one of the most real dreams you've ever had. And it's something that's just kind of like, you kind of want to be here. Like, it's
Nice.
different than being in the city. Like, the city's got exciting stuff happening all the time, but something about this place absolutely draws your attention. There's a cascade of beauty that you can't find in the typical artificial construction. And it's all here, just growing out. Even the smells are coming through. There's something piney and earthy coming in. This girl sits up from where she's at, stands, turns around, gets half startled whenever you're standing there. She's got her pail in her hand. She just goes like, ugh, like that. And you actually recognize who she is. She still has the short hair and even the nose ring. And she's just like, oh, God.
What is this?
I
Yeah.
Okay, what am I wearing first off?
Oh,
You're just kind
God.
of wearing like casual clothes, like something you've seen in movies before. It's just kind of like, usual shirt,
Okay.
nothing crimpled or anything. You're barefoot, but you have like jeans on.
is
So
it
my
Silva?
like $500 shirt, $1,000 pair of jeans,
Yeah, basically.
casual.
Yeah,
Right. Or
your idea of
credits,
casual.
credits.
Yeah.
Not my
Is it-
armor.
Is it Silva?
Yes.
Okay, just I thought it was, but you said so
Yeah.
we recognize it with the
Yeah.
no.
I'm like, he's only seen one woman.
One
in
girl
this.
in his
That's not
life.
Mom. Well, that's not his mom, and that would be a different dream problem. So
Yeah. So
he's
she's
just gonna like look down and like look and like see the sunlight on his hand and go, what is this?
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Are you in my dream?
No.
Or
Ooh.
No, you're in mine.
you wish, girly.
Hence the reason why I can't figure this out.
Computer end program.
She just kind of gives you that look like, how the hell did you get here? You must actually have
Well-
some seriously legit talent if you're going to be showing up here in particular. And besides,
Where is here?
she just like holds up her hands like this, like obviously. And that's just like, you're in a dream,
This
you
isn't in the
idiot.
city. Is this arcology? What is this? This isn't in the city.
She sets the pail down, comes walking up to you. She looks rather like pretty in this dress that she's wearing because it's the wide strap and just kind of comfortable, goes down to just below the calf, that kind of thing. She's like, dream, numbnuts, dreams.
So
it turns out you're
I'm in
dreaming
your
of me.
dreams, but are you? What is that called? Lucid dreaming?
Yes, you're in a lucid dream.
So did you pull me into your dream?
No, you came to me because clearly there's something you want. This only happens whenever I find. This is. You can't be a
Sounds
client.
like you're projecting. That's what my teacher calls it.
Okay.
Or
so-
am I projecting? Wait, is astral projection a thing?
Oh god.
Arizona. Alaska. It's not working.
Because you want to be here.
Sure.
Not sure.
Here
Certain.
is your dream. Where is your dream? Is this a place?
Oh my
Can I go
God.
to this place?
Stop talking. Okay, listen. If you want to get anywhere with where this is gonna go, clearly there's something you're after or you're looking for, and you're searching so damn hard you had to come and bother me when I actually got some sleep.
Okay, yeah. What was that weird thing you were doing in the field, and how did you drag me to wherever that was, that weird diner? Not that I want to go back there, but they had good milkshakes, and if I'm going to be able to get milkshakes on demand, and I didn't even have to pay for those, that was pretty amazing. So, like, am I in my room, and I could just be like, milkshake, and then, like, I'm there and get milkshakes, and then, like,
Oh my god.
home, and then go back. So, can you teach me how to do that? Although if I had too many milkshakes, I'd get fat.
Oh god. Look,
Like that vampire.
I can only. Shut up. If you want me to answer your question, you're gonna need to shut up.
He didn't say the vampire thing. He doesn't
Even
know what
so,
vampires are.
she's just like, stop talking.
McDonald's. McDonald's said I knew magic. Is this magic?
Not exactly. What this is a meeting, because again, you have something you need, and you're searching for
No,
it
not
so
this.
hard.
The thing you did.
Yes, it's magic.
You have that look my parents get. And McDonald's had that look too. I think that means you need more fiber.
Put a posture check under.
Hero of Gods redeemed posture check.
That's making us all move.
Yeah.
I was just getting comfy with my back all hunched over.
So she goes like, yes, it's magic. It was specifically a charm, one that I can reset when I need to, but it takes a minute. Okay? I do that as a living, all right? And I'm good at it. I can get around to where I need to be, and I know exactly how to circumnavigate throughout this entire city. And clearly, she like looks over your shoulder for a minute, and you hear something giggle in the background.
That's not mine.
She's like, no, it's mine. And apparently, there's something it finds funny. But regardless, you obviously are on the lookout for something, and if you're here, it has a tendency to mean only one thing. You're looking for some kind of a job for me to fulfill. So, what the hell are you looking for?
I mean, if you have the answers to my history test, that would be awesome. But
Try harder.
what type of job? You kill people. Oh my god, you totally kill people.
I don't kill people. I move things, and I get things.
Yeah, you gave something to that weird guy in the diner.
Okay, that 7.5 watt light bulb in your brain is starting to turn back on, so where else can
Why
we go
were
with
you
that
on the
logic?
tour? Can you only do your thing from the thing? From the
Jesus
place?
Christ. There's just certain ways these gates operate, alright? And the only way that they function is how they function. I didn't make up the rules, I just know that they exist and that you can go in certain directions. Some are two-way, some are one-way, but you have to go to where they exist in terms of where they end up.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I want from you, but McDonald's kept saying I know magic, and I don't know magic, but he says I do.
No,
So
but you
can
have the
take me
potential
to
for it clearly.
McDonald's?
Because
Not like
whenever,
McDonald's, but that guy.
yeah,
I have my own McDonald's. I don't need.
you have you have potential, okay? You like actual potential because you
Oh my
screwed
God, you
up.
sound like my teachers.
Maybe you don't. Maybe this is just a nightmare, and I'm just having this conversation with myself because you just
Now you
can't
sound like
shut
my
up.
mother.
Ugh. Look, you're gonna keep coming back until you figure out whatever the hell it is you're looking for, and if you're trying to find magic, it's pretty much everywhere, and you're gonna have to sort out exactly where you're gonna find whatever it is you're looking for, because magic itself isn't the right question. If you're looking to like try and learn it, then there's people who can probably do that.
Do you
and-
have people who know what the thing is that I can go talk to them? Because my VI thing said I could only if I'm a member, but how do you get a member if you won't show up where the place is?
What are you talking about?
That there's people that know magic, not like the cards, but like magic. And they'll only talk to you if you're a member, but how do you become a member if you don't go and meet them?
What are you talking about? Like you're trying to find a coven somewhere?
What is a coven? Like a club.
Oh my god, is it morning yet? Like,
This is your dream. Can't you kick me out? Maybe you want me here. Did you pull me here?
Gross.
ugh, like that. She just does that number, and you actually have this like sinking feeling when you actually slap back into your body, and it's right around 6:50 in the morning.
And my alarm is like, "Bah, bah, bah." Dear diary, weirdest dream ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it takes so much energy. Bill, how do you roleplay so hard?
He's Zen.
All right.
Alright, so wakes up.
Yeah. So you'll be
and
getting
he's gonna
prepped
text
for.
his mom in the other room and be like, sign me up for that tour thing again.
That'll be like the perfect segue for this. So while Danny is sleeping, dreaming, and having his little fit with this girl in particular, the stroll that you have out there in the woods. Yeah. If you want to make an awareness while you're working through it, because you're taking some of the longer routes in and throughout it.
Yeah, he's taking the less known routes because he doesn't want anybody to bother him.
No joke.
$17.
All right. So you're meandering through, and there is this sense of something happening nearby. You kind of get this feeling like the area shifts. And you've had that happen before. Central Park is loaded with that. Most people don't even notice it, but you do feel that the area shifts, and the dimensional um, topography has changed in some capacity. The route that you're on, that never changed, but the nearby area, radically different as you start heading further eastward, because you're headed south. So to your left, you can feel sort of a grand opening.
And he can always find his way back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not terribly concerned. He still has a lantern right at his side.
Yep.
And he's just walking, arms casually crossed with his feet. Well, yes, it's going to be an interesting evening. Like it already wasn't as well. And he just keeps on going.
Yep.
But as he does that, he leans back, kind of stretches, posture check, and just and pulls the Scottish dirk a little to the side, checks the lantern to make sure that it's lit, and just kind of rolls his shoulders and just continues to enjoy his pipe.
So that same geographical topography starts to move about and finally settles, and you can feel the cornucopia of energy kind of settling again. Now, this is subtle. It's subtle to a point where you can't visibly see any changes. Nothing visually changes at all until you pass a certain point, and then there is this sort of vast opening. The clearing cuts out into open sky, no smog in the air, no tall buildings, just silver moonlight pouring out into all of this incredible plains and series of ponds, just lacing every in nice sort of natural organic intervals and leading like little rivulets into each of the pools that are all corresponding with a central open space that's just dry plains. But you can hear insects and there are fireflies moving about. It looks absolutely frackin' mystical. Just, stunning to take a look at because the clearing itself is surrounded by trees, which, out in that horizon, like I said, no buildings of any kind.
Which is why he likes his job, because
Yeah.
this actually gives him more wonders versus the horrors of modern life. So
Right.
he just, kind of tamps his pipe out, puts it away, and just walks. Does he see anything? Any?
Did you have the dependent, Bill? Somebody had a dependent in this, or was that a different character?
That's a different character.
Okay.
That's the Kincaid character.
Yeah, just making sure.
This is True Faith, Iron Will, Lucky, Sense of Direction, Enemies, Sense of Duty, Notorious, and Vow.
Okay. So you go walking into this strange nighttime oasis, and you're just kind of keeping your visual, that kind of thing, making certain that you're not snuck up on by something, because beautiful doesn't mean safe, but you're not getting the sense of like dread or any kind of predatory, any kind of predatory observation from somewhere in the distance. Nothing like that.
My hand's still on the dirt at this
Oh,
point.
absolutely. I mean, like I said, pretty doesn't mean safe necessarily. But as you're pushing through and just kind of stepping, the grass is kind of lightly moving aside as you're, going through the center. And again, all of these pools, and they are rich with life, absolutely rich. There's like little silvery fish in each one of these ponds. You can even see little pond skippers on the top kind of moving across and breaking and rippling that moonlight around the surface of the water.
Just he just kind of just meanders. He's actually going to do another awareness check.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's going to be in. No, we'll do awareness.
Yeah.
Ironically, 17 again.
7 seems to be showing up a lot. That's odd. So, with that, the area seems to be aware of you, and that's what you pick up on. Is that clearly you're the shift in this whole, panoramic, gorgeous view here. It's hilarious. There is an individual that comes into view. You kind of catch on a light scent on the wind, something live, something sort of human-like.
How close are we?
Oh, you're probably about 30, 40 feet. He's just sitting there near one of the ponds.
Oh, he just walks up and goes, "Hello, how are you this evening?" Just being polite and well-mannered.
He just looks up to you. Younger man, definitely clean-shaven. He's got the short hair. He's not got a shirt on or anything like that. He's got a pair of pants that look pretty well weathered. They're tattered down just at the calf line, and he's just kind of watching the fish, and he's like, "I'm doing well. How are you?"
Well, other than a lively evening, I'm enjoying this wonderful vista. You have a wonderful place.
I don't think this is mine. You can see he's kind of a little bit like unsure.
Well, does anything at all belong to us in the end?
I suppose not.
Do be Malcolm MacDonald. Who do I have the pleasure of meeting your acquaintance today?
He just kind of leans over, looks at that, and he looks down into the pool. You can see him staring into the reflection, which almost has that mirror sheen to it. And he's, I'm on TV. He stares into that reflection. He's like, I don't honestly remember. What year is it?
Well, it's the year of, how is it, 20, what, we're in the 80s now?
Well, so it's
2082.
yeah, it's something like that. 2082. Oh, I think it was 2079. Sorry, because it's 5 years past.
Oh, 5 years.
Plus 8.
Yeah.
It says it do be 2082 on the year of our Lord.
2079.
2079.
Yep.
On the year of our Lord.
He's just kind of like 2079. 2079. Is that right? He kind of stands up and he kind of looks at you and, what is this place anyway?
Let's see, let's do a... Oh, that's funny. I never did do a cult with him because he's still learning about these things.
Yeah.
So, could we apply an investigation?
I mean, you could still do a cult. You're just not trained.
Okay, he's just gonna do a cult, just a 1d10.
See if he can drudge up anything. Maybe there's certain myths from Scotland that's similar to this.
Like a D10 plus your int bonus or your
Yeah.
int score.
Yeah, just D10 plus your stat.
And my stat is, I have a score of 5, but I have no bonus.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. D10 plus 5.
Okay, thank you. 7.
Okay. You're not exactly sure what this place is, but you've come across various areas that have similar appeal. You probably have just come to call them like havens and things like that, because there's not really much of a name for them. They kind of come and go.
Well, lad, you are in what some would say is a haven. They can be safe, they cannot be. But if you're
Fitting.
lost, I can guide you back.
I think I might like that. Yes.
I ask only that you listen to my words. Do not stray from the path. I've had way too much of that today.
It's true.
You said your name was Malcolm.
Call me Malcolm. It's a pleasure.
McDonald.
He just kind of like he scratches the back of his head. I'm hungry. Where we're going? Is there a place to eat?
Well, I can scrum up some things for you. We can do that. Not a problem. The major concern is, well, finding the way out. So you have to excuse me. He just kind of pulls his lantern up, kind of pops the hood of the lantern up. And we got a good light on it.
Yep.
So we're gonna have to spend the 5. We're gonna spend 5 SFR,
Okay.
which is his rate of use, and Dead Lantern. So, Dead Lantern, the light of the flame from the is an amber blue. The illumination will show things that are normally invisible. This will pick up psychic echoes or spirits that are in the immediate 4-meter radius of the light. As such, you may notice the bearer of light and attack it if they're hostile. That's why I use the hood lantern, so it's a little bit more directional.
Mhm.
Right? This illumination will show magic and portals, skip gates, or the entrances to Neverlands that come under its light. It lasts as long as it's lit.
So, the illumination happens to change what is directly in front of you to some degree. You can see that there is this silvery energy that runs through everything from ground to the atmosphere. It's kind of this weirdly vaporous transmogrification of the area. And while you're moving forward, this person, who stands probably around 5'9", looks like he's 160, 165 pounds, A little lanky for what he would be, but you can see that his clothing is loosely fit.
13 tracking.
Yeah. You start pushing out there. You start to notice all sorts of interesting things. The haven is littered with all kinds of small fae. As they cross the lamplight, they cause these streaks that go across like tracers, and they just kind of permeate the stuff, and they're kind of hiding. You'll catch faces in behind trees and, just past outside of where the lantern's pointing, and how it all works out. Even if the light goes a little bit further, you kind of only catch them in the slightest of glimpses. When you find yourself back on the trail, it doesn't take long before you're, heading back into the normal, and the fluctuation of the area and its topography goes back to that same normal as well. If you want to roll one more awareness for me, though.
He's just all aware tonight.
Totally.
He's aware of something.
18.
He's a were-vampire.
Jesus.
He's a werepire. So
18. Nice rolls.
yeah, he's getting really up there. You catch sight of what looks to be something somewhat maligned, but it drifts out of sight almost immediately when you start to shift your direction. You catch the sight of something like scarlet for a moment, and then whatever entity was there is just kind of gone.
Mm-hmm.
When you catch sight of that thing, the unknown person is just suddenly kind of stiff for a second, and then relaxes.
And as he sees that, he just does that subtle shift to his hip. It's still relaxed, but it's right there it's on the dirt. It says, "Oh, don't worry, lad. We'll get you home safe." But why the fret? And he's kind of gently nudging him with his elbow forward.
Yeah.
Like that gentle kind of steer, like, no, lad, come with me.
When you're coming back through, he kind of wrinkles his nose once you start getting into, the outer edge of Central Park. He's like, "It's a god awful smell."
He's gonna do a survival roll.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna use one luck to boost that.
Yep.
Actually, no, we'll
You're gonna explode it or boost it?
We're gonna explode it, so we're gonna use 2 luck.
All right, go for it.
That's 2 luck, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Which-
so 1d10.
All right, so you
Wow.
have 3. I mean, it's not a botch.
Yeah, it's not a botch. Then that's a good.
It's because
did you
Scout's
explode?
gone for a second.
I exploded.
Sorry, I'm back.
I exploded a bad luck roll on a survival roll because there's something in the area.
Well, in this case, what was your total survival? Because all I got is the 3. I don't really. Is it? Oh, 10 plus, so 12.
Yeah, it's a 12.
So, yeah, you get this kind of a feeling that there's other things that are kind of possibly tracking you guys, but they're kind of staying at a very far distance.
Now, are we in Central Park proper now?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are at the outer edge. Now, the smell he's referring to, it kind of like clicks in your mind for just a moment because you realize that the air is no longer fresh like what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that he's asking that question because anybody who's lived in Night City for any amount of time gets so used to it they don't even notice anymore.
Yeah, get nose blind to it.
Okay. What does he recognize it as?
Just literally this guy's smelling Night City and it doesn't seem familiar to him, which is kind of an intriguing. It's a kind of an intriguing thing to think about.
Okay. Well, he just does a quick before he extinguishes. He's not going to quite extinguish the dead lantern yet, but he will hood it in a second. He does he opens it fully to kind of blast a 4-meter radius.
Yeah.
Because he wants to see if there's anything hidden.
Oh, there's plenty hidden, and they all seem to be kind of in the area. Now, a lot of what's here at this point isn't nearly as pretty. You can see kind of more of a sort of a looming arcane pulse. It goes through the trees. You can see a lot of that ether kind of moving from root structure and ground up through the trunks, but it's in a much dimmer kind of constraint. They almost
what
look
the
like
bo-
veins.
Remind me, what the boy said. What would the young man say his name was again?
He didn't. He doesn't
Okay.
remember.
Ask.
Doesn't remember name. Okay. All right. So he doesn't see anything of. Well, I guess we'll do another awareness check once he does the opens up the lantern fully.
Yep. Well,
Explode.
yeah. You know this shit.
What are your Alpha C?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Everything.
28
Oh my god.
awareness.
Well, I mean, whatever may have been in your pursuit has ceased. It stopped a while ago. But the area in and around here is definitely kind of it's equal parts corruption and magic
Mhm.
together. It looks like the
Yep.
two of them are in like a conflict for territory. Now, right now, the ether has control, and whatever sort of corruptive influence that was originally there is just kind of like a stain as opposed to an active participant in this whole mess. So,
So, yeah, he's just gonna kind of hood the lantern. He's got the SFR still pumped into it, so he's not quite gonna turn it off until he gets back to the ranger.
right. Well, you
Nice.
get back to your abode, which is not terribly far from this point, and he follows you up here, and he's just kind of marveling at its construction, even though it's kind of a simple place.
Yeah, it can be a slightly confusing one, but as you give me just a moment, I need a ring a gent. And he just kind of settles him in, pours a glass of water. Would you like a cup of tea? Just a wee.
Yes, please, if you would.
Fantastic. I've got it somewhere. I haven't had guests in ages. And he's just kind of rummaging and says, how much sugar would you like?
I just like just one lump, really.
Oh, fantastic. He starts the tea, gets it all set, and he says, you enjoy this tea. I just need a, what's the phrase he used? Ring a fella. And he's gonna ring Lance Ortega.
Okay. There's kind of
With
a
that-
look of like sort of awe and confusion on his expression while you're kind of doing these things. Now you ring up Lance. Lance is still up, and he's like, "Go ahead."
Well, I have gone about my usual evening stroll, and I have found a lost and wayfarer soul. Unfortunately, they don't know who they are, but they got lost within one of the havens.
Oh no. If that's true, there's a good chance that he might have been under sway or possibly cursed. You're gonna have to be very careful, Malcolm.
He's fine. He's having a cup of tea. This has always been more of your purview once I find the lost ones.
Well, I would say just maintain until the morning. I'll come by just before you're ready to go to bed.
This is wonderful. He's just kind of looking at his fridge. Now, he gave me this list about how to order food. And he says, no, I figured it out. Thank you. Gotta feed the lad.
I'll see to showing up there, Malcolm. Thank you. And we're gonna do this again. Stretches.
Stretch.
I think that's just posing now. The beach is that way. So.
Well, actually, because of our bad posture, that actually feels really great.
Yeah.
So, with all of that, you just have to wait for Lance to appear, and he does. It's probably about an hour before dawn. The other man is kind of sitting there. He kind of looks like he's starting to gather his wits a bit, but Lance comes walking in, acknowledges you. You're just basically, and he comes up to the one who has been fed. Now he eats as if he's never had anything like this before in his life. Like, all the food is extraordinary, apparently, even despite
Delicious.
the fact, but he's just like, I've never seen anything like this. like this house, like what does all this even do? Kind of, he starts asking you questions about like the faucet and what came over your eye and all the rest of that stuff. He's just really intensely curious about everything. And you've got Lance kind of looking him up and down and looks over to you. He just leans in with a short whisper. It's like, it's probably good that you actually brought him back, actually. Lost one indeed. Well, just looking at his trousers, what's left of them anyway. He's probably a lot older than he appears.
Rio, you do hire me for a very specific job here.
That I do. I'll see if I can't do something with him. It'll be somewhat difficult, but we'll keep him here at Central Park, at least for now. I don't think he'll probably have any problems with that. Thanks, Malcolm.
Oh, you're welcome. He just looks at the young man. Well, lad, I do wish you the best in your endeavors.
He's like, you've been endearingly kind, sir. Thank you.
It
As
is all
Malcolm just goes,
for the grace and child of God. We always must look after each other.
And it's like, yes, we do. Lance, you said your name was? He kind of stops stiff for a minute. Lance looks at him and is like, I don't mean you any harm, nor do I mean you any trickery. I can promise you that. He just nods his head. It's like, right.
Don't worry, lad. You're fine with him. He knows he wouldn't want to upset me.
He's like, fair enough. All right. So, Lance takes the strange newcomer out, probably to go one of the vacant guest areas that are here in the Central Park area for like the more rich and wealthy tourists, and stash him up there, get him new clothes, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much your evening, and you end up feeling the pressure of dawn as it starts to come through. And rest finds you somewhat easily, since all the shades get drawn and everything else like that, and you can find yourself deep in slumber for the day.
Do you have to inter yourself? Like, do you
With
have
his
to get in
native
the
soil.
dirt?
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't have to do any of that. He'll naturally sleep throughout the day. It's
What are we,
extremely difficult
savages?
for
I
him to
sleep
wake.
on a bed.
Yeah.
Savages.
I mean, he has no windows.
Yeah.
Like he took cinder blocks
Well,
on
yeah,
the
I mean,
windows.
same, right?
Cinder blocks on the windows, cemented it all up, so there's no light that can actually, natural light that actually can get into
Oh,
his
all right.
his little domicile.
Yep. All right. So let's see here. Let's find out who's. So we're gonna go back to Danny real quick. So you wake up after that with your alarm going off, and you're somewhat confused and a little bit detracted from the fact that you had this extraordinarily vivid dream. Not certain what it means, and now you're just kind of perplexed on a whole new level.
Text his mom. Mom, set me up on that tour again. I promise I'll stay with Barnaby.
She just you get this like half fatigued, like kind of like several dots.
Also, what's for breakfast?
She just gives you that ... as a response for a minute, and then you hear this knocking on your bedroom door.
What?
I would much rather we had a discussion. I've got questions, so just meet me out on the outside lanai.
All right. So he's gonna grab his dressing gown, throw it on.
God.
He's fancy.
I know.
Put on
that's
his
just fancy.
Wednesday slippers.
His Wednesday slippers. Yeah, so, you've got all of those things that you need for your morning comfort, that kind of thing. You step out. Now, the difference between your complex and the standard is like instead of having like regular doors, these actually have the fully powered hydraulic doors that pop open and close. They're super quiet. You just hear that like that as it
It's
opens.
just servants in the walls pulling him open.
That'd be awful.
Yeah.
Like actual Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, in this case,
Uh,
but
okay.
yeah, I mean, it's like hyper security, that kind of thing, so it's not easy to get into, and you actually have to have like some of it's almost biometric. Your mother has her office in the same apartment penthouse, and that is biometrically sealed so that nobody can just walk in.
Hmm.
But yeah, the lanai is out front, and you go from the main hall down the stairs and into the primary living area. There is a dining room and kitchen, all of which has that full, like the kitchen itself has the island, the two ovens, like every assortment that you could possibly want. Like a full 5-star chef could work and cook in there by himself and have no trouble. But you have Night City out on the, the outer windows, which these windows are double thick bulletproof glass for just stability, but they also have that electrochromic feature which they can change opacity with simple commands so that you can block out everything by view,
Nice.
or you can just leave it all wide open, but you can see all of Night City on the outside as they're left utterly transparent, and you walk outside the doors and there's breakfast waiting. And she's sitting there looking casually dressed in a business way, dressed in a more comfortable type of suit, slacks, blazer, that kind of thing. And she's just watching as you approach. She's always been kind of an early bird anyway. She's like, "Why don't you have a seat, Danny?"
Is this the mom?
Yep.
Okay.
She's got her
So
hair
he's
done up in
gonna
a bun with the two silver
course she
chopsticks
does.
through it.
so he's gonna, sit down and like go to grab like a glass of orange juice, but he's gonna get really close to it and then like stare at it and see if he can like make it move, and then it doesn't, and then he's just gonna like pick it up and he's like maybe next time,
She's
and
just
he's not
watching what
trying
you're
to hide
doing.
it like
Right, yeah, she's just watching
yeah.
the interaction, doesn't really say much. She's like, "Okay."
I had a weird dream and I was just trying something out.
Why do you want to
Something
take the
you
tour
said.
again? You've never shown any kind of interest in that sort of thing. And
Well,
the first opportunity that you get whenever I offer this whole thing up is to completely diverge and cost me my night. So why do you want to take the tour again?
I feel bad, and I thought that since you wanted me to do it, and I'm your favorite son, and I owe it to Barnaby to let him go on the tour, that I should try it again. Also, I want to see that tour guide and apologize to him.
Who are you and what have you done with my son?
Well,
Well, I'm wondering if
she
I
just
should
kind of
roll
like
a
she like
deception.
takes a
Like,
sip of her coffee, which is in that fine china of it is a thin, ornate glass, and it's just got that, that glaze and ceramic look to it. But she takes it; it's got the, the splayed, flowery type look to it, and she takes a sip, and she's like, "Did you take acid or something?"
and I make like just like a magnetism, like
Yes. You
like
can.
I could do like I'll do charismatic leader or something, like try and like because he's not trying to deceive her, he's just trying to like charm her.
Right. Well, and in this case, she's just really suspicious because like your interest has flip-flopped harshly.
I'm gonna make that charismatic leader work for me one
You
of these
better.
days. Oh, 14.
Well, that's
But
not
he's
bad.
just like saying all the right things and like, Mom, I know how much you wanted me to take it, and I feel so badly that I ruined your night. And I really think Central Park is cool. And
She just waits and listens to this because to her right now, you've been stolen by a pod alien.
and I want to
And I love
make it
you.
better. And you're the best mom ever, and you're always
There it is.
looking
That's
out
the
for
one.
me. And with Dad not here because he's at work, I don't want you to worry about me. say something.
Okay, all right, stop. If you keep that up, anyway, you had me up until the end, but the rest of it. All right, Danny. All right. You want to take the tour again? Fine, as long as you promise me that you're not going to go off the beaten path this time and not give
No, I'm
Barnaby
gonna
a
stay
migraine.
with the tour guide.
Okay. All right.
I want to talk to him about the park.
That's what he's there to do. He's a tour guide, honey.
Right, and it would be inappropriate for me to contact him away from his job to bother him about his job, right?
Yes.
So I'm being responsible. So can I take the Sidewinder?
Can you drive it? No.
No, Barnaby drive. I can't drive.
She takes another sip of her coffee at this point, sets it down. It's like, okay, fine. As I said, you can go and have the tour again tonight, but I am going to absolutely require that you finish out every piece of the work you need to do for your classes today. And no fooling around on this one. If I catch you going back in there and trying to earn more cash grabs, I'm not going to necessarily react well.
Okay, so I do all my work, then I can go.
Yes.
Okay. I already did all my work.
Show me.
So I'm just gonna education roll.
Okay.
And not botch. Oh, 17.
Makes him a liar. Oh.
He just pulls out tablet and shows. Flip.
Yeah.
Flip.
Yeah, you just
Flip.
scran it all
I did this
across.
before I went to bed last night.
Flip.
You know, I shouldn't be shocked because you're terribly intelligent when you want to be. But this looks like it's fairly good work to me. I just wish you would apply yourself in that way more often.
I'm trying. Maybe I'll be a tour guide when I grow up. Wouldn't that make you proud?
You know, she stands up at this point. Enjoy your breakfast and try harder. Like that, she just takes her coffee. I'm going to go into my office if you need me, okay?
All right. When's Dad coming home?
He should be
Is he coming
home
home today?
soon. Yes.
So he's gonna, overly sweet, kiss her on the cheek, bye,
Uh-huh.
Mom. He's laying it so thick and so tactlessly.
Yeah, and she just goes like, uh-huh, and goes into the house at this point, leaving you with it there. Of course, at this
Alright,
point, you
so-
hear the solid footsteps of a much firmer individual, and he comes walking up to you, and he goes like, "Sir," and it's Barnaby,
Field
of
trip.
course.
None
Field
too
trip.
happy.
He leans up closer. It's like, if I absolutely have to, I will shoot you with a tracker. It's going to hurt, but I'll never lose track of where you are. Don't push me today.
Dude, I didn't even know where I was.
You knew exactly where you were right before you fucking disappeared. Now,
I'm telling Mom you use that language with me.
he grabs a biscuit off the table. He's like, "Go ahead."
Okay, but where did I go? Do you know? Did she tell you?
You wound up almost 120 miles originally from your standard location, and as far as I can tell, instantaneously. And there's no way that I can explain how that's even possible. I saw a flash of light like somebody lit off the brightest camera I've ever seen in my life, and you were gone.
I think that girl tried to kidnap me, but she is the worst kidnapper because she did not want me. There was no ransom. She took me to some weird diner with that tour guide guy. So
Delicious.
we're gonna go back
milkshakes.
and ask him what is going on, because he seemed to know who that girl was, or he knew someone who knew who that girl was. And then she was in my dreams, but I think that's just normal stuff.
Oh, God. Like that. It's like,
Barnaby,
this.
is magic real?
after what I saw last night, who the hell knows? But I do know this.
Hold up that biscuit, and he's gonna
If you put in your actual effort, you can roll the dice for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Snatch. Evocation. Target 7, threshold 1.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a rank 2 in evocation.
Yep.
So I do 2 d10s.
Yep.
All right.
Nope. too
Boom.
much.
Snatch the biscuit.
I think that one was too harsh. Let's go back this way.
He's like, "Is magic real? Watch this." Like that, and
All right.
then
So you hold this. There is this subtle glimmer that goes around your hand. It seems somewhat undefined, a little bit amorphous. But what happens is he's holding the biscuit like this, like about to take a bite because he wasn't really listening. And
uh-huh.
it slips out of his hands and flies directly into yours. And he was standing at about 3.5 feet from you. And you didn't
Oh,
move.
jeez.
So he's
So
like,
Danny is going to scream and throw the biscuit off the balcony. Yeah. He's gonna go, "Is magic real? Watch this." Vroom, and it hits his hand. He's gonna go and throw it off the balcony.
yeah, the
Just
second
be
you
like,
screech
didn't see
like that,
you
he
didn't
actually
see
goes
that."
for his gun and he's like, "What the hell was that?" Like,
You threw that at me, right? That wasn't. Oh my god. Okay,
I
do
mean,
it again.
do what again?
Pick up
Hold a
another biscuit. I
Like
don't
you
know,
just.
pick up bacon. I don't know. Not juice. That's glass.
Okay, so at this point it's like, why don't you get the damn biscuit yourself?
Okay, so then he fails. So he's gonna like hand him a biscuit and like do it again,
Okay.
and like 0, like nothing, like. Okay, but you saw that though, right?
Yeah, I almost ate my middle finger.
It sounds like I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, well, Barnaby would probably thump you for being too sarcastic, but he's just kind of like,
Okay, do we have special biscuits? Or am I special? McDonald's said I could do magic, and the blue haired chick said I had potential, but everyone says I have potential.
I never said you had
Everybody said
potential. I just know you're too much of an ass sometimes. Look, if you want to try something like that again, let's really give it a
But
shot.
I could
instead of-
have ass magic.
Ew. Like that just goes walking to the other end of the lanai there that's out there like with the edge of the balcony. He's like takes a bite and
Huh.
he's just sort of like, "Okay, try it again there, Jedi."
Of course.
What the heck is a Jedi? Oh, it's from the Star Wars documentaries.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, nothing.
He's like,
Still fail.
yeah, he just like takes another bite. It's like, I don't know what the hell that was
Blue.
before, but
It was wind.
he's like, I don't know. And I was like, personally, like I said, whatever the hell I saw last night, that's the closest to magic I've ever seen. And if it's real, then I gotta get bigger guns, or I'm shooting you with a tracker. Like he just goes walking inside.
We're going. You won't need to stop bullet. I don't. How does this work?
He just looks at you. He's like, I have no idea. I use other tools.
Do you want to teach me magic? You don't want to teach me magic. You don't even know magic is real. I bet McDonald's knows about magic. See, we gotta go. You're coming tonight. No more biscuits. You're gonna get fat.
Why did I get hired to do this job? He just goes like walking into the house.
Danny's just gonna sit there like keep doing like at the biscuits, and
I
then he's gonna try bacon, like he's
Roll for the bacon though. You might want it more.
oh,
I want to roll that bacon.
roll that beautiful bacon footage.
I want bacon.
Oh.
Oh my god,
He got the
a
fucking bacon.
7 and a 1.
Well, that's a 0 again, and you also have 1 tolerance down, so you take an exhaustion. point.
Yeah, so now he's getting like tired.
Yeah. There's a definite feeling though, like you try to do it this time, and whenever it fails that last time with the bacon, like you feel that like the sudden impact of weight, like you're really fatigued. Like there's something that's just there. You just kind of feel suddenly tired, and it's extremely unnerving because you do notice that something shifted. Like you were feeling something inside was trying to do what you wanted, and then it just kind of hit dirt and wasn't able to sustain itself.
Nice. Okay, so what is that? I got to fail. So what do I do? Do I knock my tolerance down?
What you do is you just mark 1 in that space next to tolerance so that you know that you have 1 exhaustion.
Okay.
And then
Done.
whenever you meet
Yay.
the same number of tolerance as you have exhaustion, that means you're at a 0. And then if you go further, if you get more, it starts to reduce your die pools equally.
Nice. Okay, cool. Danny and Scott are learning about magic at the same time. So
Yes,
that's
How
indeed.
it works.
he's gonna like do that for the next 10 minutes or so, and then he's gonna go to school.
All right. Yep, you do your thing. All right, so last little bit here. Um, Manservant, Mr. Hugh.
You.
Yes, you wake up in the morning feeling rather rested because you're one of those annoying morning people. I can feel it already.
Of course I am.
But you basically you're up and ready to go. You're ready to do your research. You have your market pass, and if you went and searched it, you might have found the Kipley's Almanac.
That's what I'd be doing in the morning.
Yeah.
Searching the Kipley's. Posture check.
Yes. That's like one of my favorite shorts too.
Accio bomb. I love those.
Why didn't Harry just Accio egg? I gotta say, why Accio the
Swish
broom
and
would-
flick.
Yeah, no kidding. Leviosa.
Leviosa.
It's Mimosa. My favorite version.
Oh, I gotta do a posture check. I
So-
didn't even see that. All right, so me.
Me.
I
So
apologize for Danny, everybody. He'll get better.
wait until he starts slinging magic for real and starts realizing that this shit's not for not for play. Um. So yeah, you managed to find a Kipley's Almanac, which happens to be one of those kind of like back-end bookstore type finds for the nutter butter people that don't really have a lot of intelligence. These things usually get pawned off as being unreliable, fictitious, superstitious, for your traditional neo-pagan kind of weirdo that nobody really believes in. And the Kipley's Almanac happens to be a rather in-depth thing because the astronomy and astrology composite that's thrown in there is well, it's detailed and complete, and it looks like he reposts these almanacs at least once a year.
Nice. Guess I'll be searching for anything to. I guess I'll do investigation, right? I'm looking for anything that references this market, so they can figure out what alley it needs to be in and all that fun stuff.
Well, so go ahead and you're gonna have to do a few things. One, you're gonna have to actually
Okay.
get like a map of your local area, like all of Night City or anything like that, and you're gonna have to apply your understanding of the astronomy to that and use the occult as a reference point to tie it all together. So
Okay.
investigation, occult, go for it.
All right. And that'll probably be our last roll for the evening, because then we can start off next week with the call to Lance, because I want to update Lance.
Yep. What you get?
What you got? What you got? That's for an investigation.
Nice.
Wow, dude, cranking it.
Hmm.
And then this is for my occult. Not as well.
Okay. You have a rough understanding once you start compiling these things together, because you have access to certain online resources that are very similar. Because with your smart brace and some of the computing devices and the link, you can actually start putting composites together for how the astronomy and the constellations, even throughout the day, will kind of transfix themselves, and you can pinpoint areas that, more or less, this is kind of like a funky form of astrogation in a way. Like you're trying to find three-dimensional spaces using, solar, like the solar and celestial bodies as a point of reference. So it's like you're trying to astrogate a point on Earth using the sky. What you come across is that roughly 35 miles south, there's a good chance that there might be within a half-mile radius several different alleys that actually fit.
I do find a few miles of places that fit.
Well, you find a half mile of square radius that kind of gives you like a principal point to start looking. You'll still have to investigate because you don't know exactly where,
Of
but
course, you always got to do some pavement beating.
yes, so you'll have to put your tread to sidewalk in order to figure it all out.
Cool. There you go. Wow, we have 10 viewers.
Yeah. So
Should do a raid.
yes, I'm planning on doing a raid. As a
Okay,
matter of
but
fact,
to our viewers, D, what's your announcement about the podcast you're going to be on?
Oh, right. Advertising time. You gonna play our music? Yeah, there's our play our song.
So I have a podcast that's popping on a YouTube channel called I Think I Can Write, and it's got it's a smaller following, but I worked with Stefan, the guy that runs that particular channel, and we discussed shadows and game design and kind of did that for a couple of hours. So it's going to be posting this weekend, and so kind of a plug to him. He does like video essays about the kind of media, like stories like Harry Potter, and he does shows like The Good Place, and they're fairly well done. Like he's actually got some interesting points that pushes in there. So and he offered to do that, and we've got it set up. So this weekend I've got a Shadows type podcast coming out, and can give it a listen to see if it's of interest. And we're going to be doing more.
Oh, cool.
I think the secondary podcast that we're planning on doing as soon as we get the option is going to be about horror stories and working with like horror elements and such, which is kind of my forte in this too. So.
Yeah, and so we got introduced to Stefan through the RPG Creators Discord,
Yep.
and it's really cool. Great
Yeah.
opportunity.
It's going to work out well.
I love a good opportunity.
Yeah. So, I think
10 viewers.
yeah,
Crazy.
we're gonna definitely do a raid. I would think we should find something in the same genre. Somebody who's gonna be doing
Genre.
yes.
Well, we are number 3 right now in the tabletop RPG.
Well, should we go higher or lower?
There's a bunch out here with just like one. RPG Blender is testing out a new TTRPG,
Hmm.
Battle
I see
Royale
that.
style.
Got a spinner and everything. Writing.
Yep.
JN3 storyteller.
Yeah. Let's have a looky see. Yeah, we got one. Yeah, there we are. It's pretty cool.
Jobs of Problems, number 4, and The Price of Progress are the two ones above us. They got 20 viewers and 14 viewers.
Wow, some of that stuff looks really like one with the pie graph is not what I'd expect. Let's see. What is this? Outbreak. That's interesting. That one right there looks kind of like it could be fascinating. That one's got 7 views. That's probably push into the main one. Looks like they got a battle map. The Price of Progress. I think why don't we do the Price of Progress? Because I changed my mind. That one looks like a good fascinating. If that seemed like a
There's
good
a lot
one.
of people there too.
Yeah.
All right, cue it up, Buttercup.
I got another thing in here going like, want to become famous?
I thanked him for his advertising.
Yep.
Thanks, Martineers. We're already famous.
Yep. All right. So we got.
We don't need you.
Jesus.
Oh crap! I love this stream.
Did you get any new followers or any other acknowledgements before you call it a night?
Well, you were the last
subs
one to do have
tonight.
done anything. We got a gifted 1-tier sub to your friend Bumblebee and 31 bits. So it's basically just me thanking you.
And Monkey Fist.
Yeah, big
and
thanks to
Mouth.
Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey Fist
Yeah,
really
Monkey-
pushed it in there. He went crazy.
I've shouted out his channel a few times, or at least once. All right, queuing it up. We got 8 raiders, 9 raiders, 10 raiders. Everyone here.
Oh, we're just gonna blast him. All right, let's do it. Let's go from 14 to
night.
24. Take it easy, y'all.